not working. Hi, guys. Can you guys hear me? I don't know what happened. Okay. Let me go ahead and play my opening and then we'll get right into it. So, today we're going to talk about um, Meghan Markle not being invited to see the Queen in her last hours. We're also going to talk about 50 Cent making fun of Little Kim's baby. He's just going too far this time. He's just going too far. Then we're going to talk about Neo and his sister wife situation. So let me go ahead, play my opening, allow more people into the room, and then we'll get right into it. It's not working. Hi guys, how are you? Now it wouldn't be Sherelle's world if we didn't have a little technical difficulty, now would it? No, there's not too much going on. This Queen Elizabeth situation is everywhere as expected. You know, she passed away yesterday, and it left a lot of questions. Um, it's being reported today, if I can find that Meghan Markle wasn't invited to come say her last words. Here it is. I'll put it up. Only her son, Harry, well, grandson, Harry. And we all know how the royals feel about Meghan and Harry. They're like the rejects. They're like the bad kids, okay? They're the bad ones. So it was all over this morning that Meghan wasn't allowed to come see the Queen. Then after probably about 6 or 7 hours, so that's what I'll seen this morning, plan on running the story. Now it's being reported that, well, maybe she didn't come because Kate didn't come. Whatever, she wasn't there. I don't think it's appropriate for her to be there if she's not wanted. You never know. The family might want to mourn between each other. And, it's just what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of controversy surrounds Meghan and Harry. I'll put it that way. So she wasn't there, and we don't know if she's going to go to the funeral. It's being reported that that's the wrong one. It's being reported that Harry will be at the funeral. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, mostly during this time, it was mostly the Queen that kind of like she didn't like Meghan. There, I said it. She didn't like her too much, and the rumor was Charles was a little bit more sympathetic because what he had went through with Camilla Parker Bowles. Camilla Parker Bowles, okay. He feels that you should marry who you love because, unfortunately, even though the country loves Princess Diana, he didn't. And it was alleged that he had affairs with Camilla during the whole time. So it's kind of he was always sympathetic. Now the rumor is now that King Charles, this is my first time saying it, is going to be it's going to be what is it? It's his what am I trying to say? Under his terms, I don't know how to put it. Now that he's the ruler, the rumors are he's going to make massive changes. I see him being a little bit more lenient with Meghan and Harry. The very first speech that he gave after the Queen passed away, he mentioned them. He said he wanted to express his love for Meghan and Harry. For Harry and Meghan, excuse me, as they continue to build their lives overseas. Now, I read a lot into that. That means, look, I don't have a problem with them. They're not moving back here right away. Maybe not at all, but there's no problem. That's how I took that. A lot of people said that they were offended that he didn't list their titles. It is what it is. Give him time. Things will change. A lot of things are going to be changing. These are the rumors under his reign. They're saying that he's going to fire all of the Queen's longtime staff. Hey, he's the king. You can do what you want to do. Okay. He's not playing that. I think he's going to be a little bit more lenient with it. As far as the will, they're saying that Queen Elizabeth was worth $447 million, and that Harry's name is included in the will. So, I mean, I think a lot's going to change. I think that, and I don't live in England. This is an American's point of view. Remember, I do not live in England, and I don't mean to offend anybody. If I am, let me know. I'm just across the pond, and this is how I look at it. I'm thinking the Queen was older, it was more stuffy under her reign. I'm thinking when King Charles takes over, things are going to change and they'll be more up with the times. I hope that did not offend any Brits. I have a lot of you guys in my chat. I'm just saying that, well, a lot of times they were accused of being too stuffy. I don't even know the correct word. I'm not trying to be disrespectful if I call them stuffy, but you guys know what I mean. She was very strict, and she knew she wanted things done a certain way. Now, don't forget, I like Queen Elizabeth. I think that she was put into an unexpected situation because, remember, her father was not supposed to be king. It was his brother, I can't remember his name, who decided to marry an American woman, and then gave the throne to him. And then he died at an early age of cancer. And then she became queen at a very, very early age. And I feel that she did a good job, but I'm not British. Okay. She reminded me of my grandmother. Okay. Yeah, they were raised in different times, but they mean well. And I don't mean to upset anybody who really didn't like the Queen. Let's go over people who did not like the Queen, which is highly inappropriate, if you ask me, to voice your dislikes at a time when someone just passes away. I just don't like it. I didn't like it when it happened to Kevin Samuels. I don't like it now when it's happening to the Queen. Um, it's being reported that people in North Ireland, a lot of them didn't like the Queen. And when she passed away, let me put this video up here because it's bad. When she passed away, they celebrated. It's so inappropriate. They're chanting Lizzie's in the box and they're clapping. Now, I'm not just saying it because it's the Queen. It could be anybody. I just feel when people pass away, now is not the time for you to list your grievances. That's just how I feel. A lot of people disagree with me. So we have the people in Northern Ireland that were kind of like celebrating when she passed away. Um, Here in the United States, there's I hate reporting this stuff, but it's the truth. A big population in African Americans that don't like the Queen. And they don't like the Queen because of Meghan Markle's treatment. Meghan Markle came out let me put this up here, 3 days ago, before all this happened, talking on her podcast, talking to Mariah Carey, and basically saying how she felt, how she dealt. She felt that before she got married to Harry, people didn't treat her like a black woman. They treated her like a mixed woman. But when she went to live with Harry, pardon me, because I get all these titles mixed up. When she married Harry, they treated her like a black woman. And remember, there's the rumors that someone close in the family made some really horrible racist comments.
I think for us, it's so different because we're light skinned. You're not treated as a black woman. you're not treated as a
Right.
white woman. You sort of fit in between. I mean, if there's any time in my life that it's been more focused on my race, it's only once I started dating my husband. Then I started to
Obviously.
understand what it was like to be treated like a black woman, because up until then I had been treated like a mixed woman, and things really shifted.
Okay, it's no secret. She said she dealt with racism in the White House. This made a lot of African Americans not like the queen. It is what it is. So a lot of them came out when she passed away and was talking. Was well, I don't even know how to say it. You guys see me stumbling on my words. They didn't care. Okay, so but DL Hughley, who agrees with me, came out and said they have lack of compassion. Now is not the time. Whatever your feelings were, and this is just how I feel. If it's Queen Elizabeth, if it's Kevin Samuels, like I just feel when a person passes away, that's the end of it. Give it some time for you start putting mud on a person's name. That's just how I feel. And it's not just because she's the queen. I'm not saying that Meghan is telling lies. I'm not saying any of it. I'm just saying it's not the right time. Because I know if any of my loved ones pass away, don't come to me with your grievances. That's just how I feel. Now, a lot of people say just because a person passes away, those feelings that you have don't go away. I get that, but I don't like it. I don't like it, and neither does D.L. Hughley. Like, it's just something about it to me. Let's give it some time. She just look, it hasn't been a full 24 hours. She just passed away yesterday. I don't know. That's just how I feel. It's too soon, and and Meghan was, a lot of black people identified with her when she was saying I was treated un- unfair when I married into the royal family because I'm black. That's basically what she was saying. So a lot of people got behind her. And listen. I don't know her experience. If something bad had to happen for her to quit entirely and move back to the states. So it's just a messy situation, and I'm hoping things can change under King Charles because I don't know. It was just a mess. It was just a mess. And hopefully, the word is he's more open. Even though he's 70 years old, that's really old, but they're saying he's more open. And the Queen Elizabeth, she's 96. Can you imagine the difference in generations? With that being said, I guess Queen Elizabeth also used to employ a lot of family members. They're saying that Prince Charles is going to, Prince, I call him Prince again. King Charles is going to cut all of that out. This is going to be his reign. And so I feel that it's going to be totally different. And hopefully he can kind of bridge some kind of gap between Harry, Meghan, and William and Kate. So it was reported that Meghan wasn't invited to come give her last words to the Queen, and now it's being reported, well, she didn't come, and neither did Kate. So because Kate didn't come, she didn't come. Sounds like cleanup to me, but it is what it is. This is a changing of the guard. Me personally, I'm not British, so I don't live in England, so I don't know. But I just thought she was, I kind of liked her. I did. It was no secret. They said she lived through 14 U.S. presidencies. 14. Whew, that's a lot. But their country's in mourning right now, and a lot of things is changing for them over there. And hopefully, Meghan will be at the funeral. We know that Harry got invited, but I searched all over. I don't see anything on Meghan. So maybe, I don't know. It is what it is. I will report it when it happens. So there's a lot of things they have to do before the actual funeral. So that's what's going on today with the Brits. She will be going. I hope she will be going. I hope that they all just mend things. It's not a good look. A lot of people in England don't like Meghan, and over here we do. So it's a lot. And we weren't there. We don't know what's going on. I don't know, but that's where everything stands right now. And at least Harry is included in the will. And with $447 million, I'm glad she found room for Harry and his family. All right, guys. So that's what's going on. Oh, you guys got a lot of comments. Meghan doesn't spend quality time with her mother. Ooh, even at the wedding, their relationship looked very awkward. I heard that. We're not going to talk about Meghan's dad. We're not going to talk about Meghan's dad. UK was really excited to have Meghan Markle, and I never heard of a single bad word against her till the Oprah interview and the lies. I mean, what time is it? I wonder if I should just. Whoa. Let's take some of these comments. Someone said, "Who cares about Meghan right now? It's about the Queen." That's true. I agree. Oh, that's it. Yeah, it's about the Queen. I believe it. I believe that. Ooh, wee! Oh my God! Stolen wealth from Africa. I've heard that. I heard that before. I don't like Meghan. I have a tendency, it feels like the British don't like her. They were there every day. They know what happened. I don't know why they don't like her. I think I had Freddie on one time to agree with that. But a lot of African Americans over here do like her. It's still gonna be war, so it's spiritual warfare. I hope not. I'm hoping for peace over there because it's just a mess. Hey, Sherelle, how are you? Tough 254 hours for the royal family. Eric from Jersey with hugs. Thank you. Yeah, the whole country's mourning. Matter of fact, I changed my mind. I just want to dedicate this video to Queen Elizabeth. I want you guys to really share your feelings. African Americans don't care about Meghan. Okay. Hi, Freddie. Let me drop the link. Hold on. I rarely do this. I'm making an executive decision right now, and I want people from across the pond or anyone to call in and talk about this because it's a big controversy here. I'm trying to drop the link. Hold on. I mean, you have people on both sides of the aisle. Did you guys? Oh, I didn't even put my thumbnail up. Did you guys hear about the anchorman in Brazil? You know, I don't know. When you pass away, your feelings don't. When a person passes away, their feelings don't stop. But I just feel like there's an appropriate time for all of it. Let's just. Here's Freddie. Hold on.
Hello.
Hi, Freddie.
How are you?
What's going on over there?
Oh, I mean, it's been a really sad time for everyone here. I mean, everyone's been really sad. I actually went to Buckingham Palace today to see what was happening there. And just loads of people were there, you know, lots of people giving flowers, cards and things. And I think what was so interesting is that it was people from all over the world. There were lots of news reporters and things from over the world. You know, there was a lot of mix of different religions, different cultures that were there celebrating the life of the Queen as well. And of course, Prince Charles was outside of Buckingham Palace today, just before he did his speech about obviously his mother's passing. And in his speech, he did announce the fact that obviously Prince William will now be the Prince of Wales, and Kate Middleton will be the Princess of Wales. And she is now the Princess of Wales after Princess Diana.
So I hear that King Charles is a little bit more open-minded than Queen Elizabeth. Do you think there could be some kind of healing with Meghan and Harry?
I mean, I think both of them need to put their issues aside. I do think it's probably not helping with the fact that Meghan and Harry are doing interviews and talking about things, knowing that William and Kate are part of sort of the immediate monarchy. they are serving this country as working and paid for royals. Therefore, they are not in the position to be able to defend themselves. And
What do you mean? They're not going to come out and start a
they're not going
war?
to be able to do that. And it's just deeply unprofessional if they were
Mm.
to go out and sort of give their side of the story. And I just think that they need to, hopefully, considering that Harry and Meghan, and I believe the children of Harry and Meghan are also in at Windsor, at their house in Windsor at the moment, which is now round the corner from William's new house, that they can, sit together, no recordings, no nothing for Netflix and things like that, and, work out where these issues are and come to, some sort of a resolution. And hopefully, with the Queen passing, it's opened both their eyes.
Do you believe that Meghan was racially treated unfairly?
I think in terms of the media, I think some of them did. But I think the problem with Meghan Markle is she puts everything down to being racially sort of done against her, and that's not the case. I mean, an example is that Meghan Markle claimed that her and Harry saw The Lion King, and that one of the guys who was in that, he was and she said it was a South African man, and he was the only black South African man in this Lion King show. And Meghan claimed that he said that, when Meghan married into the royal family, they were celebrating as much as when Nelson Mandela was released from prison. Now, this man has since come out and said, no, that is not true. There weren't particularly big celebrations in South Africa. And actually, this man, a black man, found it deeply offensive that Meghan Markle was going out there making these claims and sort of trying to align herself and compare herself to Nelson Mandela, Nelson Mandela, certainly in my opinion, he's an uncomparable person. I mean, the work he did is just out of this world. And I think it's, a lot more than, in my personal opinion, that Meghan and Harry will ever do.
Now, I have another question. With all due respect, I don't want to offend your country at all. But technically, Camilla was the other woman, okay, for a lot of years. Has the public accepted her?
I mean, it's actually not a secret. It's very much been admitted and is a known fact that Camilla very much was the other woman in the marriage. I mean, even Diana has said this in multiple interviews, that there was a third person in the marriage, and that person being Camilla Parker Bowles. I think it's a bit of a mixed bag. I think there are, a lot of people have said, we need to embrace Camilla. This is a new era for the United Kingdom. But I think there's a lot of people that aren't sure about her at all. And in regards to the fact with Camilla, there was a lot of talk of, will she be Queen consort or not? And for me, I always thought that she would be, because anytime that you have a king, there always is, the wife of that king is queen consort. Yeah. So for me, I thought it was a given. So I personally have never been sure why there were questions about it. But the queen did clarify during her 70th year on the throne, her celebrations, that Camilla very much would be the queen consort. So I think that may have sort of helped a lot of the public in sort of support.
And you say it's 50-50 on people liking her? Like some do, some don't?
I think so, yeah. But I mean, her popularity has definitely risen over the years. But, it's fair to say, I think there are still quite a few people in the UK that, do not like her.
All right, let me start taking some questions. Hi, LaBelle. How are you? Hate smoke.
Hey y'all.
I
Hey.
can't with me. Listen, you
I-
heard my, did you hear my report today? A lot of African Americans came out on Twitter and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they don't like the Queen.
Yeah.
But we're not British. Are we unfairly judging?
Hmm. I understand your sentiments as far as like when someone passes, like give them and their loved ones that respect, but also I understand where those individuals are coming from because they are coming from a historical point and how the British was involved in a lot of things throughout history. And technically, if the wealth that the monarchy has accumulated did come from, countries where it was mainly populated by people of color. So that's probably where it kind of just the I don't care kind of thing comes from about. So I get that. I mean, personally, I wouldn't do that. Did I look at some of the stuff? I did. I won't lie. I did laugh a little bit, but like when I personally put
It
stuff
was
out there,
insane, wasn't it?
it was crazy because I was
Can't
just looking
do
like,
that.
damn. I was like, is
Yeah.
it that bad? But then once people kind of framed it in like, even like some of her involvement, because some people are saying that some of their like grandparents were, they faced some of the result of Queen Elizabeth's like rule at the time, like 50 or 60 or 70 years ago. So I think when you kind of understand from that perspective, not saying it's right, but it's just like people are going to feel how they feel. And it's like, you can't
Well,
do bad. You can't cause devastation and destruction to people and expect them to not cry over your grave.
Freddie, that has to be devastating to you guys because
Yeah.
you guys respect your queen.
I mean, I think, there's no argument at the fact that, Britain was responsible for, a lot of, the colonization and stuff. It was the second biggest, country in the world that was doing a lot of the slave trading after Portugal and things like that. But I think, in the Queen's era of being the monarch, she was very much sort of against all of that happening. And I think she did work very hard to try and stop that. I mean, with Ghana, for example, the Soviets, so the Russians were trying to take Ghana for themselves as a way to be able to take all sort of their resources.
Also, there was people in Northern Ireland celebrating. Do you know what that beef is about?
Well, Northern Ireland is obviously a part of the UK. Now, you've got the Republic of Ireland who believe that Northern Ireland should be theirs and it should all be Republic of Ireland.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got it.
However, a lot of people in the north of Ireland want to stay in the UK. And then, of course, you do have some Northern Irish that do want to be a part of the Republic of Ireland. Now, in the UK, we did have a war with Ireland, with the IRA and things like that, with problems with Sinn Féin, which is a political party over there, and things like that. So I think that's where that all comes from.
I do too. And with all due respect, though, you can't take away a person's feelings, but just wait a little bit. That's what I think. LaBelle, what are your opinions on what happened, on what's going on?
I did want to feel bad. I thought Prince Charles, I'm like, oh, look at that basset hound. But at the end of his speech, when he said she was my mother, I miss her, it made me miss my own mother who's been gone. It's about the same age as the Queen would be had she lived, but and she made a family and all that. And that stuff was beautiful. The colonization stuff. She was only queen for 70 years and she was a constitutional monarch, which pretty much made her a figurehead.
Oh,
A
yeah,
lot of
that's true.
the government decisions were made by Parliament. So,
Yeah, that's true.
you got to put blame where it is. Yes, she's on the money, and she has a lot of money, but she wasn't the one, you want to be mad at somebody, be mad at the Belgians, because what they did to the people in the Congo was absolutely disgusting and horrific. That being said, I think this does not look optically very good for Meghan because they've been so active while she was dying and Harry didn't make it to her. That's his grandmother. I don't think it looks really well for her. I think she's a bit of a narcissist anyways.
Ooh.
And I think he's just a cuckold. I think he just got blood by his nose.
Oh my God.
Well,
Nina, do you understand why the Brits hate Meghan so much?
No, I don't, and I won't understand. Once Harry chose her as his wife, that should have been enough. If we want to, what I don't understand is why we need 10 days worth of coverage. I just don't understand. It's on every channel. I don't want to look at it anymore. I don't really know too much about her except the Queen, except for what I've read in the tabloids, and it didn't look good on my end.
But you have to understand. To them, Queen Elizabeth is like Nelson Mandela to the African Americans.
It is.
mhm.
I do understand that, but I can say Meghan can't be compared. No way compared to Nelson Mandela. So if she said it, bad on you, Meghan, because you're not that big in our mind.
Right.
But
That's true.
is the Queen Elizabeth is not that big in my mind either.
Mhm.
So I'm on the end where I do believe that what Meghan said about the racial slurs, I do believe she was telling the truth, and her husband believed it too, and I believe it came from King Charles. That's just
You think it came from King Charles?
I think it came from the daddy. I sure do.
Well,
Mm.
Freddie.
The rumors suggest that
Hold on, Freddie. What'd you say, Nina?
I'm just saying, I think it came from him because to me, it appeared to me, that's who he is. I don't think he was approved of that marriage in the beginning. And then when you think about Camilla, should people get used to her? No, because Diana was everything to us. People should not get used to her because she was the other woman.
Well, hold on, Nina. You don't want them to accept or get used to Camilla?
I don't think they should have to, whether she's queen or not. I don't think they should have to because Diana, in our mind, she went through so much turmoil in that family. She went through it, and Meghan is going through it. And Charles cheated on her with Camilla. Everybody, I knew that, and I'm over here in the States.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I knew that.
But talk about side piece goals, huh?
That's what I'm talking about. Wait a minute, let me say this, and then I'm gonna be quiet. And then we over here in the United States, and we get on these chats and these channels and these blogs, and we so against people messing around with married men or married women. Make that make sense, huh? Just because he's king now, he's still a human being to me.
This is when we need Nene to tell her what to do.
But Nene's no better herself.
Nene's voice piece.
Close your legs to married men.
Close your legs to married men. But you know what? She did. She opened it up to the right person. If I have to say
hell yes.
That's all I got to say. I'm going out of here. Bye, y'all.
Bye, Nina.
Bye.
Nina had a point. It's kind of hard to forget how she entered the royal family. But I mean, if you want to make peace and start all over, that was years ago. Unfortunately, Diana's no longer with us. We have to accept her at some point, I feel. I don't know.
Diana's demise always makes people suspect as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because you know what? Did Camilla have a hand in that? Because
I don't think Camilla would have had a hand in that demise, considering she was still the other woman at that stage. I think if, there was something suspect, which allegedly there was, I've got to sort of be, I can't go too hard on this, but what I will say is that if there was foul play involved in it, I don't think it would have been Camilla. It would have been more our government and the men in suits, so more like the advisors.
What is it, the MI5?
Yeah, they
MI6.
involved as well. Yeah, but Camilla being the other woman involved, she, and not even being married into the royal family, she wouldn't have had a say in that.
But wasn't she going to go by princess consort because this kind of puts her above Prince Philip? Because he was prince consort, as was Prince Albert. I watch a lot of
It
YouTube.
works a bit. It works. It's a very weird system in the UK. It's a weird system in the UK, and they don't call. Interestingly, when it's a queen we have in our country, the husband is not called king consort.
Yes.
Then when we have a king, that rules Britain, his wife is Queen Consort.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. I think it's really weird. I completely
Yeah, because not since they did call King Philip, who was married to Bloody Mary, the King of Spain.
Hi, Maddie. Welcome. What do you have to add to the conversation?
Hi guys, how are you guys today?
Good.
Good.
How
How
are
are
you?
you?
I just want to say I agree with everything Freddie said. Megan is a true narcissist. Okay.
Why do you
I'm
say
as
that?
well. It started off. I used to like her when she first came on the scene, and
We
I'm
all
speaking.
did.
I'm
Yeah.
speaking as a West African.
Okay.
Mhm.
So when she first came on the scene, I was like, oh wow, like she's good. She's gonna modernize the modern family. But in her tour in South Africa, when they were trying, how like when they go on tour, they like to highlight the issues in the country and what the people are going through. And instead of her highlighting the issues the South African or third world country was going through, she had the nerve to complain about her life. She was like, oh, nobody asked me how I am. Excuse me.
Oh, I seen that. I saw
Wow.
that.
Yikes.
You know
Let
what
me
I
ask
mean?
you this, Smoke.
Yeah.
Have you heard the rumors that the British are not so vocal, the Americans are? Have
What do
you
you
heard that
mean
before?
vocal as far as what like issues that are going on in Britain?
Just telling your feelings, talking up. Have you heard that,
Well,
Freddie?
I know I have African friends who are live in like England, and like they kind of like have their own opinions and perspectives of being there. So I don't think I guess it depends on who you're asking. Like I feel like for the
Well,
most
my
part,
question was, do you think that the South Africans, the British are misinterpreting Meghan because she's so vocal?
no, because I think there's something to be said. Like you're going into this privileged lifestyle. Like basically, you'll have everything that you will ever need. So like it
Exactly.
just explained, like Maddie was saying about like you're going to a third world country that has a lot of issues.
Literally
It doesn't
nothing.
take a lot for you to put your stuff to the side and be of service to other people, especially with the platform you're about to marry into. So yeah.
Even like with her podcast, she doesn't even let her guests speak. It's
Oh.
always me, 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 me. As soon as she asks a question, before somebody can answer, she's already talking about herself. Like, damn. That's why Mariah Carey called her a diva. And she had the nerve. She didn't even clap back when Mariah Carey was there. She had to wait when Mariah Carey left, and she wanted to address it. And Mariah Carey came back on Twitter and still called her a diva.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah. Freddie, can I ask Freddie a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Freddie, do you think the monarchy is going to make it for William to be king? Do you think they're going to abolish it?
I think it's a very good question. I mean, I think the thing is that Charles is just not going to have the same respect that people have for the Queen. And
whoa. You're saying that people don't respect Charles? King Charles?
I think people do, but just not the same type of respect people have for Queen Elizabeth II.
Oh, wow.
Sherelle, do you know that it was a skit on Saturday Night Live too? That King Charles, I guess I should call him now, they got phone messages from Diana, and she was squidgy or whatever she was called by her boyfriend, and he wanted to be a tampon in Camilla's vagina.
I heard that.
Whoa.
Okay.
That's gross.
You didn't hear that, Smoke? You didn't hear that?
No, I did not. That is very disturbing.
Okay, so you want everybody to come on.
Oh, did you guys hear her complaining at the fact that she could not afford her $14 million mansion with 16
I read
plus
that.
bathroom?
I was like, really, sis? Really, sis?
Oh,
Come
that's
on now.
bad.
Excuse me?
It's insensitive when we've had COVID, which has made people lose jobs. The stuff with Russia and people not being people can't afford to fuel their car. People are struggling to get good jobs. And you're being a little spoilt brat, moaning about the fact that you can't afford your multi-million-dollar 15,000 square foot mansion when most people can barely afford to put food on the table. It is just really insensitive. And considering she married someone that actually got given money, didn't have to work, got given money as sort
And
of
had the
because
nerve to
he has
tell
a
her she doesn't remember
birthright,
him.
because
I
he
mean,
has
she
a
doesn't know him.
birthright. You know, he's got 30 million pounds, which is about like $38 million. Like, that's loads of money, more money than most people could ever dream of having. And the fact they're moaning, I just think is really selfish. And for me, it's like, you're meant to be giving people hope and stuff, and you represent charities. How is thinking of your own ego like?
What
But
about
Freddie,
this,
but
Freddie? Princess Diana was not very vocal. We learned at the end she was unhappy in that marriage and unhappy with everything, just how the whole everything was ran. Do you think if she would have spoke up, people didn't like her either? Are we just criticizing Meghan for speaking up?
We're criticizing her for her lies. I'm sorry.
I'm criticizing the lies. For me, I was
Hypocrisy,
very happy that
narcissism.
we had a mixed race woman marrying into the royal family. I
Absolutely.
thought this was a way, as it like a new era to sort of, you know, be really good, particularly for the Commonwealth. But for me, it was the lies, and it was her moaning, and you know, the things like saying, you know, her passport got taken away and stuff like that. When she went on about 13 holidays that year, she went to the opening of Soho House in Amsterdam and things like
She
that.
also went to her baby shower.
in New York with
Yeah,
Serena
you guys are
Williams,
on it. You guys are on it.
Can I come in, Cheryl?
Yeah, who said that?
Bundy.
Bungie.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Bonji. I was going to come to. What are your thoughts on Meghan? Talk about Meghan first.
Well, Meghan, to be honest with you, I was for her until she started what I call she overexposed herself in the media and continues to overexpose herself in the media, and that opens her up to not only scrutiny but ridicule as well. And like Freddie said, we know that Prince Harry has money. She's not poor. Her kids are not poor. Her kids and kids will never be poor. So she should just shut up and live her life at this point.
Period.
Yeah.
Like, go away. She wanted a private life. She got a private life, yet she still wants shut up. Leave us alone.
But
She
also
cannot have freedom and also have the benefits of
fame.
what Harry comes with at the same time.
That's what she wanted.
She
She
cannot.
wants the British people to pay for her security. Meanwhile, they've spent like $45 million on her wedding. Like,
Make
And
that
not-
make sense.
And not only,
Secondly,
Go ahead,
Cheryl,
not only that, but we're forgetting that Meghan was an actor before she became a princess. So
on
she's a
Suits,
terrible actress.
and so actors naturally, and even I put myself in this category at times, like we can be self-centered and be all about ourselves, me, especially like you go from being like kind of like a, let's say it's a C-list actor, maybe D. I'm being very, very gentle
I
with
think
her.
we're talking
And you go from that to being one of the
Smoke.
No.
Oh, he's.
Okay, can I say something about the
Please.
Queen?
Go ahead.
Cheryl, you're?
First
Oh,
of
you
all,
just went out. So finish what
I
you.
did?
Hold on,
Oh.
Bonji. Finish what you were saying. It went blank.
No, I was saying like Meghan basically she went from like a C-D list actor to like a princess overnight, and so like that is gonna like inflate her ego even more to think like, oh, I've made it, and so she's gonna want more. So she can't help like fame, and like Whitney Houston said about, she's like, success is doesn't get you, fame does. And so I think like that drive for fame, no matter where she's getting it from, that's the thing that, you know, unfortunately is coming out, and we're starting to see it more and more, and being like, now we're understanding why maybe the Queen may not have liked you.
Damn, Bonji, sound off.
okay, so first of all, Freddie, condolences to your country.
Thank you.
We're family, right?
Right?
I was born in 1972 in colonial Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe.
Okay.
I was born a British subject. As far as the monarchy was concerned, I didn't have any rights even though I was born in my own country, on our own land, having our own resources. So when people talk about not being happy with the Queen, my argument is, okay, let's take the Queen and put her aside and say, we're sad she's gone.
Mhm.
But the history of the monarchy has a thread of blood right through it. Because what happened in places where colonization happened is our mothers and fathers were hard, beaten, our homes were plundered and set on fire, and our resources were taken from us for centuries. And when I was born in Rhodesia, I didn't have a right to move or shop in certain areas of my country just because I was a Black person.
Mm.
We got independence in 1980, but we as in 2022, we still see the remnants of colonization in our country, our system of government, and many things. So when we look at the monarchy, let's not look at it from the glamorous point, which is what I've learned living here in the United States. We look at period pieces about Downton Abbey
The
and
Crown.
princes and princesses
Crown.
and all the
I love it.
crowns, the jewels. It's important for people to think, where did that come from?
And you blame Queen Elizabeth.
No, I believe the monarchy, of which she was today's representative, and Charles is representative of continued monarchy. And as a result, I wouldn't personally hold her as an individual responsible, but the institution that she represented, and King Charles III will continue to represent, still has terrible consequences around the world.
Well, let me ask you this, Bungie. So you weren't that fond of the Queen. Are you going to be not that fond of the King?
I'm not saying I wasn't fond of the Queen, because I was raised to respect her just based on being a subject. And when she came to visit when I was in elementary school, we were lined up with British flags because that's what we were told we had to do. So I loved Diana. I loved the princess stuff because all our libraries were full of royal literature. But having moved here to the US and having grown up and understand the history more succinctly, I look at it not as just a singular issue, but I look at it through the lens of not only where I was born, but also the impact that that's had on my country as well as other areas in the world. And I think a great start for King Charles III would be to dismantle the Commonwealth and start somehow figuring out, if the monarchy is to continue, what does that look like in 2022 going forward? Because remember, Freddie, when Kate and William went to Barbados just last year,
Yes.
Yeah.
people booed them because people were like, we're just tired of us being subjects of you and being required to come and dance before you, and all you do is wave, get it back on your jet and go home.
Well, I think that I feel, but I have to go to Freddie, who's the British specialist. Don't you think change is going to come with King Charles III?
No.
Yeah, no. I mean, there's already talk that there's going to be a lot of change, that we're very much, and I'm in support of this, of having a slimmed down monarchy. I mean, we're spending way too much on people. We're going to say bye-bye to Prince Andrew. He can
Oh, God!
he
Kick
can
rocks.
be banned and stuck in a gutter in
You
somewhere
want to get rid of
rubbish
Prince
England.
Andrew?
He can go. He's going to lose his security, apparently, which will be fantastic. He's going to be banished somewhere awful, hopefully. So
No, Freddie, you live over there. When's the last time you seen Prince Andrew? Is he in hiding?
I mean, he's not doing public events anymore. He's been banned from
Oh,
doing that. He's
wow.
been banished. And I
Oh.
think, as considering, based on the fact that, you know, Prince Charles and William were the real ones that pushed for basically banishing Prince Andrew. Now that Charles is now the King of England, I think he's going to, you know, put a lot, you know, really sort of properly exile Andrew. Now he's the ruler of this country,
And
and
didn't
he's
he
got
want to do
the
that
full
before?
power.
Didn't he try to talk his mom into doing that?
He did.
He did, but the Queen sort of didn't want to do that. But thankfully now, the good thing of Charles being king is we'll hopefully never see Andrew again. And he should, maybe he can join in a cell with Ghislaine
I
Maxwell.
can't. Yeah.
As he should.
Well,
But that won't happen, to be honest with you.
Freddie,
That
you
won't
are
happen.
so messy.
but I saw pictures of Ghislaine and Kevin Spacey sitting on the throne in Buckingham Palace. How do you think they got to his mother's throne? And the sad thing is, she was
Through
his
Prince
favorite.
Andrew.
Prince Andrew was his favorite, was the mother's
Yep.
favorite kid.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much. I got a long line. I don't know. A lot of
But
people want to
I'll-
talk. Freddie, stay on.
Sherelle, before I jump off, I just wanted to say to you and Perry, thank you so much for wishing me a happy birthday on Wednesday. You made my day. It was amazing. And I'm sorry for everybody's loss, no matter how you feel about it. You know, when somebody loses their mother, we all get back to our place and we all love our mothers,
Yeah.
you know, if we're
Yeah.
lucky enough to have them.
Yeah.
So everybody have a blessed day and a wonderful weekend.
You too.
You
Take care.
too.
Thank
One of the
you.
positive things, Cheryl, is that we're going to get less of our local political stuff, at least for the next 10, 11 days. That's the only plus I see.
Say it again.
I'm saying we're going to get less coverage of our political
Oh.
messes here for the next 10, 11 days. And we can always come to Cheryl's world if we get tired of watching on TV.
That's true.
And give some shade.
All right. Ruth, sound off.
Hi, Sherelle. Hi, Freddie.
Hi,
everyone.
Ruth.
Hey.
I just wanted to kind of follow up on what Bonji said, which I completely empathize. But what I also want to bear in mind is that, yes, the monarchy colonized a lot of countries, but that was with the help of the Africans. They didn't just go there and
True.
take over these countries. Because
That's
I'm
true.
from Ghana, and a lot of our ancestors have told us. I mean, right now, Ghana just made an African print for the Queen, right? We've just made a nice Ankara print to celebrate her. But they didn't just go there and say, we're taking over your land. Absolutely not. They went there and they negotiated with all the chiefs of each village or of each town in order to make a trade with those African countries.
Are you
And
saying
that's
there's a lot of blame to go around?
They shouldn't, so they can't just say, oh, the British did this. Absolutely not. The Africans themselves had a hand in that. So when you talk about history, that I always say people should really read and research first before they make these blatant statements, because it's not true.
Okay,
All
first of all,
Ghanaian
Ruth,
children, all Ghanaian children are taught, let me just finish. All Ghanaian children are taught about this. We know that our chiefs made the deal. We know that our chiefs sold some of their sons, especially their so-called disobedient sons abroad and all those things. So we're aware of that history. Has there been some bad management in that? Absolutely, because people can be wicked. Of course they can. It happens today. There's slavery and all these things happening in this current climate. But what I want people to understand is that for the British public, we adore this monarch. She's the only consistent person we've had for most of our lifetime. We've only ever known her. We've always known how profoundly dignified she's been, how she's not led by emotion, how she's not moved by public emotion because she believes in a certain way and a truth. And that generation, for better or for worse, she was the last of it. And it's kind of an end of an era for many of us. And we love her. And it's really disheartening and really upsetting when people, speak badly of the Queen or speak badly of the Brits, and, because it's really unfair. And I'm just hoping that Charles, as much as I think he's a lovely person, he has his faults, and as most people have their past, so no one's above that. I hope that we people and the global community can really support the UK right now and support him as he, enters this new era in even his life.
First of all, Ruth, you talking about people looking at the whole history. That's true. The history is the British were never invited to colonize Africa. They arrived on African soil and did negotiate with the chiefs. For example, using your logic, individuals brought here under the slave trade by force and oppressed in horrific conditions. So, using your logic, because some of the people that were part of the slave trade were not part of were part of the oppressors. So individuals here in the U.S. then that means that they're somehow responsible for them being living under slavery. That is ludicrous. We are not saying that we're not bashing the Queen, but we need to look at history as history. I'll give you an example. The BBC last night ran a story, and the headline was something to the effect: the Queen's relationship with Africa. It wasn't a relationship. The monarchy colonized Africa.
Whoa, I didn't realize that this ran so deep, Freddie.
Oh my God.
I'm not going to go back and forth with it because I live in the present, and I'm basing what I know on fact, and I'm basing it on what I know from my own history.
Your history informs your present.
No, it's not.
Your history informs your present.
Okay, hold on. Let her finish. Go ahead, Ruth. Speak. Finish.
Yeah, I'm basing it on the history that I have been taught from my Ghanaian ancestors, from my Ghanaian school.
Well,
so it's not false. So you please be respectful.
Okay.
So that's that. But what I will say is that, and I'll jump off. And thank you, Sherelle, for the opportunity. What I will say is that people are placing this blame on the Queen, which was not her fault, and it's not her sin to bear. She inherited that role, and she did the best that she could in that role. And actually, a lot of African leaders respect her, and they still respect her. And when we have our state funeral, we will see a plethora of African leaders coming to pay homage to her. And for that, I'm going to end. God save the Queen. God save our new King. Bye.
Sherelle,
thank you so much. Hold on
I'll
a second,
say this
Bonji.
to end it.
Okay, go ahead, Bonji. Wrap. Go ahead.
I want the chat to know that the history informs our present. We can say that about what we're talking about now. We can say that about our history as Americans. Looking at this from an emotional point of view, I looked at it from a historical context based on where I come from. And this is why we're having issues with history in our schools, because we're not teaching
the full
facts.
history.
We're teaching history through the lens of what I would call institutional racism. We're looking at the monarchy as an institution. With all due respect to Ruth, I'm not a Ghanaian, but I'm speaking from how I was raised, what I was taught, and how I see history and the monarchy in its context, without any disrespect to the Queen.
Well, thank you, Ruth, for coming on. You're a longtime supporter. I always like you coming up and voicing your opinions, and that's what this channel's for. Educating and telling how we feel and talking about it. Thank you so much, Ruth.
That's Bonji.
Bonji. I called you Ruth. I called you Ruth. Thank you, Bonji. There.
Bye,
Thanks, Sherelle. Love you
Sherelle.
guys. Have a good weekend.
Take care. Bye-bye. I just was
I wanted to quickly say about the slimmed down monarchy before I got off on my tangent about Andrew. So what King Charles wants to do is he wants him and Camilla at the top. Then you're going to have William and Kate, who are going to be the Prince and Princess of Wales. And then you're going to have Prince Edward and Sophie Wessex, who are going to be the next tier. Oh, and then you've got Princess Anne.
She's still here?
Yeah, Princess Anne, yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, she has to be devastated.
And the thing with Meghan and Harry's children is that now the Queen has died, it means that now Meghan Markle's children of prince and princess, because
Oh,
that's how the hierarchy sort of works, is that now they go up.
oh
When
wow.
people die
Okay.
and like the chain sort of moves up,
Yeah.
they are now prince and princess. It's very complicated to
It's very
explain.
complicated. This whole thing, I didn't expect people to
Yeah.
be so passionate on both sides. I know your country is mourning, and then others feel the way that they feel. This is a lot. I just hope King Charles III can modernize it a little, bring.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely hope so. I hope that Prince William and Harry can, see the Queen's passing as a wake-up call to put things aside and do what's right for not just themselves, not just for, Kate and Meghan, but for their children, for Charles, and things like that. Because
Well,
they're
I'll
on the same
go ahead.
page with so many charitable, things like what's it with like loads of different charitable things that they've worked on over the years.
Well,
So
listen, Freddie, this is going to be a 2-week process, right?
yes, it is. I mean,
So I'll call you. We need to come back and,
yeah,
and you tell your side from the other side of the pond and stuff like this, because people are really emotional about this and have a huge audience from overseas. I don't know how I got it, but they come from South Africa, they come from England and everywhere. So this will give you guys, but right now the whole country's mourning.
and I mean with Charles, I mean even him, he doesn't really have time to mourn because he's having to travel all over the UK. The Queen's coffin is going, everywhere. He's got to go to different memorials and things and celebrations and all of that. So, and even with work wise at the Queen, he's got to go straight to that. He's got to, address, documents, letters that were left in the Queen's red box that she hadn't had, the opportunity to address yet. So, I mean, Charles is already, full on working as king, and he's not even been coronated yet as our king. We haven't had the coronation yet, which will
I was
happen.
gonna end this, but I am totally booked. Let me try to bring in more people. Hi, AJ. How are you?
Hey, Sherelle, how are you? Hi,
Hey,
Freddie.
Ruth.
Hey,
Hi,
Hey, how are
guys.
you?
Hi, H. How are
Uh,
you?
Hello, can
sad
everybody
news.
hear me?
So many people.
Yeah.
Let's start with you, AJ. You're Brit.
Yes.
My condolences go out to you. Do you like Meghan
Oh,
Markle?
no, I don't. I don't
Hmm.
like her at all. But might be a little bit controversial. But for me, I pretty much agree with I think what Freddie said earlier, that she's just, she's just not very trustworthy. I just
Mm.
don't think she's a bit of an actress, isn't she? And also, she has lied,
Well, why do she has a lot of support
a
here.
lot.
A lot of, yeah, a lot of
Yeah, I
African
know.
American. Yeah.
Well, this is the thing is that, the reason I think is because it was all to do with Oprah Winfrey. You have Oprah Winfrey, who's so respected over in America and all over the world. I mean, I love Oprah.
Yeah,
And if you
same.
sit down with Oprah and you pour your heart out, and you've got Prince Harry sitting there and nodding and saying pretty much not a lot, but, sitting there in silent, it's just going to make her more popular in America. But in the UK, it's people is 50-50, I would say, in terms of her likelihood, but I don't think most people I know don't like her pretty much.
All right. Ruth, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Sound off really quickly. I keep getting callers. This is insane.
I would like to agree with what's her name from Zimbabwe, my sister from Zimbabwe.
Angie?
Banji, yes. I agree with you 110%. This is the problem. It is just like here in America, they are trying to ban schools from telling history about the slave trade. You have to tell the story the way it is. Do not dilute the story. You have history that makes you, it suits you. It makes you comfortable. But the truth of the matter is, where Banji comes from, I come from the next country. We share the Victoria Falls. We are one and the same people.
Where Bungie comes from was Northern Rhodesia. Where I come, no, she comes from Southern Rhodesia. I come from Northern Rhodesia, and then the countries changed. They became Zimbabwe. We became Zambia. Yes, we got our
Right.
independence in 1964. They got their independence in 1980. Okay, so
What do you think about the Queen?
what I
Do you
think
like the
about,
Queen?
I like the Queen because when I was born, I found the Queen. Okay, but when I began learning the history, I don't think the Europeans have been to a place and never caused any devastation. They have caused atrocities all over the world.
Yeah.
So let us not talk as if the monarch is
Yeah.
it should be
But that's,
glorified. It should be
I agree with
glorified.
you.
It has caused a lot of pain. It has
Mm.
it has a lot of blood on its hands, and
Yeah.
people just sit there and read history that suits them. There is a lot of things that have happened in Africa, even up to the day of today. They went into Africa for natural resources. So let's not say they agreed with the chiefs. You went in, you plundered Africa, you came out with the resources. Today, the King of England is getting his first job at 70 years old because of the
Yeah.
resources that were stolen. Please, what history?
Yeah,
Come on,
And
that's
we've
a
got
tell the
that's
like
another,
truth.
China that are going into Africa, nicking
yeah,
palm,
China
nicking
is
oil.
going
especially into
in
my
now.
country. Yeah, they're doing
Yes.
that as well. They're in
H,
my
sound off
country.
really quick. I'm going to give you a chance to speak. Go ahead. H,
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. Can you sound off really quickly?
Hello, everybody. I'm from the UK,
Mhm.
Caribbean descent, and I personally, I am not shedding any tears for this woman.
Amen.
Mm.
No
Yeah,
tears are being shed by me.
Well, let me ask you this because Black Twitter was on fire last night and
It's been
people were
hilarious.
vocalizing their opinions. Don't you think it's great? I mean, this woman just passed
Sherelle,
away.
but Sherelle, do you think that people are maybe conflicting, like the British history is very, very deep, but
Hold on. Someone
Queen
keeps
Elizabeth,
echoing. Oh, who has the television on? Okay,
Not
go
me.
ahead, AJ.
I was just saying maybe like people are conflicting a little bit because the British history does have like really bad roots. But
That's what they're saying.
in terms of like Queen Elizabeth II, like she was a nice woman. Like, she did a lot and she did like unite a lot of the Commonwealth
But I think
people and they
H,
The
you're
did
only, the,
saying
like
on-
her.
the only thing, the
H,
only
are you
thing
saying
common about
she?
the wealth is where it all
The
went.
history. Yeah, but
Hold on, hold
The
I'm
on.
talking
only, the
about the
only, the
history.
only, the only thing common about all the wealth is where the wealth went. This woman is sitting down in stolen jewels. Can people get their things back
Wait,
Yeah,
H,
now
are
that
yeah.
you
she's
saying
gone?
that Queen Elizabeth needs to be held accountable for what happened? Is this what you're saying?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I am. I am definitely saying that at the end of the day, things were still happening on her watch. Have you heard of the Windrush scandal? People that
Yeah,
came here from the Caribbean on British passports, all they
yeah.
That
did was
was the
tweet and
government's
tweet. They
fault.
tweet. Yes, it was the government's fault, but the Queen
But
was
she's
still
not in the
head of state
government.
when it happened.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But
And at the end
she
of the
doesn't
day,
have a lot of say in the government.
I've sat here today and heard how people and heard somebody say how she all over us. She lived alongside us. You go try and enter Buckingham Palace and see how far you get for somebody who lived alongside us. Everything I'm hearing today and everything I'm seeing and everything I'm going to be seeing for the next 2 weeks is just a bag of propaganda. No tears will be shed by me.
And again, H, you're having
It's very
trouble.
emotional.
We're going to have to stop you. You're having trouble. Okay?
See, I understand what she's talking about as well
That's
because,
loud.
like, they have a very deep-rooted history. British have very deep-rooted history, especially with the Caribbean community and the people. They may not like her as much, and there are a lot of people who may not like, but not her in particular, but the institution itself. The
And I
monarchy itself,
understand
because
that.
going back like maybe like this is 1,000-year-old monarchy. They've not been all good, the bloodline down, and they have changed their name during the Second World War, when the German Nazis, because of her uncle was a alleged Nazi, and he was dethroned and married, you know, what was saying Wallace woman, and they were exiled, and her brother, well, her dad became a king, and it was sort of like, you know, she had to like sort of adapt to that. So she unfortunately inherited a lot of bad blood and a lot of bad history, but that's just because this is a 1,000-year history.
Yeah.
It's going to
Thank
be
you so
bad.
much, AJ, for coming in and giving your point of view from across the pond. Ruth, I
Thank you.
always appreciate your honesty.
Oh,
Thank you so
thank you.
much. Can you hear me, Ruth? Oh, she can't. Okay. All right. Thank you, AJ. Take
Bye,
care.
All right.
AJ. Bye, Ruth.
Bye-bye. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. Freddie, so compassionate. I mean, when I let people call, they speak their mind.
I know. I
Wow.
think, yeah. I mean, I think what's clear is that there are so many different sides to the coin. I think there are so many valid opinions and
Yeah.
things that people have as well. But
Yeah.
I think the consensus in the UK is that most people are really upset that the Queen, you know, has sadly passed away now.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Wow, what a topic today. I'm sure I'm going to bring Freddie back. We're going to be talking about it because they're saying it's going to be a 2-week process, and that's a lot to go on. And now all eyes are on King Charles III. Let's
I
see
know.
yeah.
The British, I don't know, the royal expert and the Beverly Hills expert, basically.
Yeah. All right, guys. Please don't forget to click that like button. It does wonders for my video. Thank you, Freddie, for coming up. And I will follow the story for the next 2 weeks. It's very interesting. And a lot of people are very compassionate about it. Can't believe I got so many callers from outside of the US. It was overwhelming. All right.
Because you're the best.
Do you have to say
It's
something?
because you're the best.
Oh, all right. On 3, I called you Perry. On 3, Freddie, let's say bye. 1, 2, 3. Bye, guys.